If there's one thing that I had to ask you, Field, let me start with you. If there's one thing I had to ask you about fantasy football, like what's your biggest gripe with fantasy football so far this year?
It's too predictable.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just like, I spend all summer telling you guys what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the season plays out, and it's like people are like, did you have the script? How did you know that? Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. I feel like you sent out a tweet yesterday, something resulting in that as well, based on seeing a couple of the top of the position scoring leaders.
Yeah, I mean, this was from a tweet from Nick Ercolano, who pointed out that through 3 weeks, Juwan Jennings is wide receiver 4, Dallas Goedert is tight end 1, Cole Kmet is tight end 3, Sam Darnold is quarterback 2, Malik Neighbors is wide receiver 1. That changed after the game last night because Jaden Daniels leapfrogged Sam Darnold. It's just an incredible thing that we see every single year. And it's fun. To me, that's the fun of it, right? Like it's infuriating when as an analyst, you're trying to get these things right and people get pissed off at you when you don't nail every single call. But the beauty of what we do, the reason why you keep playing in the same league after year after year after year is because you don't have to change a whole lot. Yes, the same 10 or 12 or 16 people all show up, same rules, same format, one time a year you draft, and you let it rip for 18 weeks. What's the most surprising thing, though? You want to start with one position? Sure, go for it.
Let's start with the wide receivers, because when I'm looking at this, there's a top 10 here, Stephania. Okay. If there's one name, I'm just going to list them off real quickly for our audio listeners. Top 10 are Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice, Chris Godwin, Juwan Jennings, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Jaden Reed, and Stephon Diggs. One of those things is not like the other.
Who is it? Really, Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings, nobody expected, and obviously it's the injuries in the 49ers that sort of elevated his opportunities. But he was making a case for maybe earning a flex in your lineup after week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, because clearly he's involved in the offense, so it wasn't like he came off the bench, but his opportunities grew.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating, too. And he, to me, is the least sticky of these 10 names.
Correct.
Just because Debo, we think, is going to be back relatively soon, and we think Brandon Ayuk will get it going. I have no idea what to expect from Ricky Pearsall this season. But if I told you, like, without the context of anything else, that the 49ers would draft a first-round wide receiver and sign Brandon Ayuk to an extension, 4 years, $120 million, and that Juwan Jennings would be the one that's balling through 3 weeks, it would have sounded very unlikely. So amongst the things that I think are going to stay around for a while that are surprising, I do think it's probably the 3 names at the very top, right? Like, I think the idea of Justin Jefferson being awesome and Nico Collins and DK Metcalf, et cetera, like Malik Neighbors has been terrific so far. The target share is exactly what we dreamed of. Yep. Rashee Rice feels kind of Amon-Ra St. Brownie to me.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No, I'm totally with you.
A ton of targets here. So those would be a couple, and then Chris Godwin, Old Faithful, just crushing it so far.
I think the other takeaway there in that group is that you have 2 top 10 wide receivers on the same team. And that's something we talk about not expecting. I mean, we made the case yesterday about why you can't have 3 top fantasy wide receivers in the same team, and it's from this team, the Houston Texans. You have Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs both in the top 10. Tank Dell clearly on the margins. But is this something that is sustainable? Or do you think this is a function of some of the others that are notably outside the top 10, like CD Lamb? Where are you?
Yeah, they're going to be some that look like...
They're going to bump them down.
Yeah. Some of these are going to look silly at the end of the year for sure, like where they were in week 3 versus where they are at the end of week 18. But both Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins having good enough fantasy production to be lineup locks, to me, absolutely 100% sustainable.